Okay. Namaskar, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar. How is the weather in Mumbai?
Weather is it's out of sync with the normal conditions because
Acha.
October end after Diwali we don't get rains, and we are now seeing quite a bit of unusual kind of climate. In fact, it is becoming cold during afternoon also, which we are not used to. Bombay, we are used to every
Yeah, Bombay, it's not cold, so I think no problem. So I think we'll be. So what do you want to do?
You want to start?
So participants are there. I think we can start. And so we are very happy to welcome our we are very happy to welcome our distinguished speaker for today's webinar on public policy and good governance. This is the first webinar we are doing with IIM Mumbai, and we just concluded an MOU with IIM Mumbai. And in addition to series of activities which we have planned with them, this is going to be very important event for us. And we look forward not only to this webinar, but much more engagement in future on various topics. So today's topic is future talent requirement in logistics, Vision 2047. As we know that IIM Mumbai is one of the premier institution for logistics and supply chain in the country. And we are very delighted and thankful to IIM Mumbai that Professors Khanapuri and Professor Khanzode could take time out for this webinar and enlighten on us on various issues regarding future talent requirement for this important sector, which is very crucial for growth of our economy. Now, I would request my colleague Himanshi Rastogi to introduce your speakers, and then we'll invite first speaker Professor Khanapuri to speak, followed by Professor Khanzode. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Once again, welcome to the 12th edition of webinar on public policy and good governance. We have the honor of hosting two very senior professors from IIM Mumbai. I would take a minute of time to introduce both the professors. First, we have Professor Vivek Khanzode. Sir is Dean of Sponsored Research and Industry Consultancy at IIM Mumbai. With nearly 3 decades of teaching, research, and consultancy experience, he is a distinguished academic and management expert. His areas of expertise include business and management consultancies, strategic planning, project management, leadership development, IT consulting, business analytics, and digital marketing, just to name a few. Our second speaker, we have Professor Vivek with us. He's a distinguished faculty member at IIM Mumbai with over 25 years of experience spanning industry, academia, and institutional development. He is an expert in manufacturing, operations, and supply chain management with strong expertise in operational excellence, continuous improvement, values, team mapping, and waste elimination. Both the speakers will be speaking on the theme of future talent requirements in logistics for Vision 2047. I welcome you, sir, both for this. Now I request Professor Vivekanand to please give his remarks.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you very much, sir. I think we thank Bagde sir for giving us this opportunity to come and present whatever little we have been doing in the area of logistics and supply chain, and how we look at things more from the application perspective. And we would like to share our views on this very important topic of the future talent requirements, Viksit Bharat 2047. Now, before I hit there in terms of the topic, I would like to quickly tell you how we have organized our talk in terms of my colleague, Professor Vivek Khanzode. He will also be talking about this very important topic. And I will be just giving you the brief introduction in terms of how we look at this topic. Can I move ahead with this one? Start?
Yeah, please, Professor, please.
Yeah. Okay. Before I start with the presentation, I think I will just like to give my quick starting point in terms of looking at when we talk of any policy, governance, and any of these aspects, and a very important aspect is before anything is formulated and before anything is translated, it's very important to know what kind of problem statements are, or probably what are the issues which we need to address. And this is typically addressed through understanding where the public demands are, or probably in terms of some kind of initiatives which the government would like to take up, or probably in terms of certain crises which are typically part and parcel of any economy. And in line with that, what as an economy we would like to go ahead and work on it. And this is how the policy formulation and all those things begin. Now, given that broad context, I would like to typically take up with how as an institute we have been working in this domain of operations and supply chain. We are basically an industrial engineering institute established way back in 1963, and over the last 50 years we have established our credibility in this domain of operations, logistics, supply chain, using some of those very advanced models for decision making. And this is where our entire approach has been towards our small contribution towards the area of the policy formulation, or in terms of the area what we are going to talk about. Now, in line with this, if I look at what the institute has been working on, let me just quickly take you through a brief presentation. I'll not take more than 5 minutes here, 5 to 10 minutes, just to give you an idea of where we come from. Okay, I have to share this one second. Just confirmation from your side that my slides are visible.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Now they are visible. Yeah.
It will take its own time because it has to get uploaded on the.
Yeah, now visible.
Now visible, right, sir?
Yeah.
Now, a few important things which probably for the benefit of the audience here, we have been established in 63 with the assistance of UN Development Program through ILO. But then over the years, we have adapted to the changing needs of the economy in terms of offering various programs. And that's how, while we were known as an industrial engineering institute, we are having strengths in the domain of all the areas which typically an organization needs to be exposed, or an economy has to have and strengthen in terms of whether it's operations, supply chain, analytics, data sciences. All these areas we have been working very closely. In terms of our strength, we also have been ranked 6th consistently for the last 2 years. We are going to go, we are trying our best to perform better. We have got our own centers of excellence. We have got laboratories. We are working on the accreditation. We are also looking at how, as an output of our programs or our trainings or our inputs to the students, how these students are able to perform when they go back to the industry. And this is where, I don't know why this is not moving slide. Yeah. This is the journey so far, and I don't want to spend time here. And let me go to the next slide very quickly. These are the programs which we are offering, and you will notice a few interesting things, especially when it comes to. Are my slides visible?
Slides are visible and they are moving also. So, okay, yeah.
So we have adapted to the changing requirements of the economy in terms of what the government and the policies have been actually being implemented or being worked upon. Like if you look at way back in 2014, manufacturing needed that impetus, and the government of India wanted to ensure that we work towards some of these leaders in the domain of manufacturing, and that is where we culled out a program on visionary leadership of manufacturing excellence in collaboration with IIT Delhi. Along with that, we also understand now what is happening in the domain of natural resources, more so the kind of expertise which is required in moving the natural resources, especially coal, ore, mining. All these things are becoming very critical because the huge amount of logistics cost gets plugged into the overall cost of the production. And hence, we have started one very interesting program on logistics and operational excellence through digitization. And this is one thing which I want to emphasize, which we are going to tell you about how we have looked at the policy for the policy point of view, how the new age technologies need to be blended into the skill building and all those things. Similarly, we are offering various programs in collaboration with public policy management with DOPT. So let me go to the next slide. Of course, all these things we need to also blend with some of the open programs, and this is where the major chunk of the capacity or what we talk of the future requirements need to be met with. We have a huge chunk of labor, you have got a huge chunk of resources. They need to be upgraded with some of the new age technologies, and that is what we do in our open programs. We offer a lot of programs, and of course, when we look at these kind of requirements, whether it is sustainability, whether it is Gen AI, whether it is digital transformation or use of agentic AI, digital technologies or analytics, every single aspect which is the future need, we are offering them through our open programs. Similarly, we are also running some of the programs through some of the best resources through professors like Simchi Levy, Sauvik, Dimitri Ivano, covering the various aspects of the digital technologies and all those aspects. Yeah, these are some of the areas where we work with some of the companies, and then we also have some kind of collaborative arrangements with partners. And this I would like to just take a pause here for a minute to tell you that our focus is not just talking about what needs to be done, but actually translating those things into action. And in this line, we have actually working very closely with Capacity Building Commission. We are working with National Skill Development Corporation. We are working with Department of Personal Training. And the idea is to ensure that this knowledge, whether it is through the form of synchronous or asynchronous mode, is delivered to the various beneficiaries in the country. Now, how is in terms of our approach and in terms of any policy making or anything to do with, one of the important aspects is in terms of what kind of research base is built to arrive at the solutioning approach, and that is what is one important aspect. Second is also in terms of consulting. Basically, the stakeholder consultation is a very important aspect. Do a complete detailed analysis, and then we also give a kind of approach in terms of what could be our requirements, how would it be fulfilled. And that is what Professor Vivek is going to couple up with this presentation. Now, just to quickly tell you what is happening in terms of our industrial applications. In the area of logistics and supply chain, if you look at it, to as simple as in terms of ports, how is the port efficiency going to make a difference? What kind of analysis needs to be done? Where is the skill set which is missing? in terms of what kind of decision support models would be required for optimizing the bulk material handling. Now, entire analysis is based on some of the ports where we actually take up these studies and arrive at what could be the possible way of addressing these concerns. Similarly, we have done some analysis for airline operations. Now, the idea is, while on logistics front, if you look at it, rail, road, in fact, must be the highest one. It could be as high as 70%. But going forward, the other areas will also need a lot of emphasis. And that is where in the country, now you will see that multimodal logistics park and these kind of things are coming up in a big way. And in line with that, we need to ensure that both road and rail, which are covering the major part of the chunk of the logistics, but along with that, you've got the pipelines, you've got the waterways, you've got air, all these things also need to be understood. So we have looked at some of these challenges. What we normally do is we take up some of these projects under some kind of MOU or arrangements under an MOU, and we take up these problem statements, work on that, and then cull out what could be some of the directions in which the organization or the things need to be moved. Like, for example, in these case, in which in one of the MOU which we have signed with GenPact, we have done more than 13 projects, student-driven projects, and all the aspects, whether it is something related to the supply predictability modeling or on-time delivery, transport cost optimization, every single aspect is being addressed through these kind of projects, including some of the areas which are very, very critical, whether it is IoT-enabled service part planning or looking at the visibility of the parts, which becomes very critical for any organization to ensure. Otherwise, you end up having huge inventories being piled up. Okay, just to come and conclude here with some few salient points, what we have done in terms of the policy. One part is developing the policy, the other one is also looking at how these policies or how these initiatives of the government and how they have been implemented and what kind of benefits have been actually accrued. So what we have done is, as a part of this logistics, one of the important aspects is in terms of what we call them as PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. We have analyzed some of these schemes, the key themes under which one is PM Gati Shakti, National Master Portal, then Smart Cities, Regional Connectivity Scheme, Economic Corridor Development, Logistics Efficiency Improvement, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. So what we have done is we have looked at each of these schemes, analyzed threadbare in terms of the data which is available from the secondary sources, have had complete discussions with the various stakeholders and come up with a proper analysis of what has happened to these schemes. And this has been compiled in the form of what we call it as a Towards Naya Bharat, and how it has made an impact. And this is what has been published in the form of a book, which is already made available in the Amazon and all other places. Going ahead with this, we have now gone ahead and actually went ahead and analyzed some of these future talent requirements, which we are going to focus in today's presentation. What is actually required going forward from a policy perspective and how it is going to make a difference is what we are going to address in this presentation in the next 20 minutes before we conclude with the question answer sessions. We have already done a lot of analysis, which we will share it now going forward. And before I conclude and hand it over to Professor Vivek, some of the new things which we have started now is in terms of, let's say, we are talking about use of drone technologies to see the efficacy of some of these schemes, PM Awas Vikas Yojana. Now, what we need to understand here is how these technology can really contribute to arriving at the efficacy of some of these schemes. Similarly, PM Vishwakarma project, Vishwakarma scheme. Now, all these projects which we take up are actually going to give some kind of directions, give some kind of suggestions, which will really help in the refining or fine-tuning some of these initiatives of the schemes. So before we talk about the work which we have done, I would like to once again thank the organizers, NCGG, more specifically Bagde sir, for giving us this opportunity, and I will hand over the proceedings to Professor Vivek Khanzode. Sir. Yeah. We'll take up the questions towards the end so that we can have more meaningful discussions. Stop. You have to stop the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Khanapuri. And as he connected in the end, what I will do is I will take it forward from that point. And just give me a second, I'll share the screen.
Either. It's me.
You have to share.
No. Click there. Microsoft PowerPoint.
Open that.
Share. What is the first slide? Are the slides visible, madam?
Yes, sir.
Policy perspective. This is the first slide. Just confirm.
Can you see the slide in presentation mode? Policy
Sir,
perspective.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the point where Professor Khanapuri concluded his presentation, and this is where one of the very important study that we conducted, policy perspectives on future talent requirements in logistics, contributing to Vikasit Bharat's Vision 2047. So in this, yeah. So briefly, this is a study done by IIM Mumbai under the guidance of Ministry of Education and a cross-functional team. I will present in brief how our expertise in logistics and the learnings from that can be connected to one of the important policy measures in terms of competency building, specifically pertaining to the upcoming logistics and supply chain sector in India. So we'll quickly go through what are the sectors related to logistics and supply chain management, what are some of the next generation technologies coming up very fast for efficient logistics operations. The sustainable logistics part of that, another important dimension, and how do we shape the future logistics workforce? And based on that, what should be the broad overall implementation framework? So if we look at the problem of shaping the future logistics workforce, on one hand, we have several sectors listed on the left-hand side of this slide, such as multimodal transportation, shipping and port management, humanitarian supply chain, agri-food supply chain, and so on. Almost there is no industry which does not require logistics as an integral part of its value chain. All of them are listed here. On the right-hand side, we have the technologies which are developed over a period and are being developed very fast. We are seeing a lot of implementations in private as well as public sector units of these technologies, such as geospatial technologies, blockchain, IoT, autonomous vehicles, cloud computing, and then everything encompassed by artificial intelligence these days, where digital twins, big data, and all are part of that. So if we to the what happened? Yes. Are you able to see the slide?
The slide is visible, but it is not moved to the next one.
I'm just trying to move that. Just give me a second. I hope you can see the slide now, right? Shaping the future logistics workforce. Okay.
Are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
So while we were speaking about sectors on one hand and the technologies on other hand, an intersection of that gives us the skill sets required by the future logistics workforce, such as data analytics, machine learning, knowledge of route optimization, prediction and optimization, simulation, large language models, and so on. So how did we get that? Coming to the genesis of this study, we looked at the logistics scenario in the country as well as at a global level. The global logistics industry market size is growing over last few years and is expected to experience a growth reaching to around $14 to $15 trillion in the coming 2 to 3 years. Size of logistics market in India is also continuously growing, and in the next few years it will almost double, or at least grow to 1.75 times of what it is today in the next 3 to 5 years. But on the other hand, if you see, this is of course GDP of top 10 countries, and India has moved to the 4th position, slightly needs to be updated. If you look at the Indian scenario, the share of freight logistics in India is highly dominated by road, which is of the tune of 70%, and rail is around 18%. The distribution of total logistics cost in India is 62% in transportation, 34% in inventory, and 4% in administration. So that gives us the magnitude of the problem in terms of the overall logistics cost in India, which is around 14 to 18%. If we reduce it to the order of say 10% or less than that, we can just think of huge savings in the overall cost structure and its contribution to the GDP. Now, if we look at the workforce in logistics sector, around 22 million people in India are associated or employed in the logistics sector. It is growing at around 12%, expected to add 10 million jobs by 2027. But the employable talent in India, and that applies to logistics sector also, is only 51%, which is like almost half of that. If we add some other perspectives to that, for example, share of working age population in India, it is going to grow. It's continuously growing at least till 2030 or mid of 30s, and after that it will slightly decline. So it's almost stabilized, going to stabilize at around 65% or of that order. But if we look at the perspective of logistics industry and look at the share of talent shortage, we see that the order is very high. For example, transport, logistics, and automotive, around 77% talent shortage. Communication services, 78%, and so on. Information technologies, 81% of some of the high order shortages. Just to keep all that in perspective, we looked at what are the very common roles at different levels, entry, mid, and senior management level in logistics sector, and the list is on this side, where you can see some of the very commonly found roles among different companies, organizations, and units working in this logistics, supply chain, and manufacturing sector. So, in a nutshell, if we look at the working age population of India, which comprises 64%, 65% of the nation's total, is more than 90 crore. That is the size. By 2031, this population will increase to 65%, and logistics sector is going to create around 10 million jobs by 2027 at an estimated growth rate of 12%. But with 51% of Indian workforce only considered employable, there exists a persistent talent gap. Now, how do we look at it further in terms of the technologies from where this talent gap is coming? So the technologies such as the drones, revolutionizing the last mile delivery, autonomous cargo planes, blockchain, sustainable aviation fuels, and all those sustainable initiatives, data analytics and predictive technologies, including AI, are on one hand, one step above other. These are some of the trends which we are already experiencing at our workplaces. For example, if you look at an automated warehouse environment today, you will see that it encompasses several technologies to function effectively, such as warehouse drones, AGVs, conveyor systems, automated storage and retrieval systems, collaborative robots, and automated cranes, warehouse management systems, and so on. So today we cannot imagine a modern warehouse which does not implement some of these advanced technologies or the technological traits. So from that, we identified a list of most common next-gen technologies for logistics sector, which are given here. Again, they start with AI, machine learning, IoT and big data, cloud computing, AR, VR coming up very fast, control towers where you can sit at one place and everything that is happening at the workplace is available in the virtual or digital form to you, and that information being processed and available to you as MIS input to take relevant decisions at right point of time. Of course, supported with digital twins, robotics, automation, drones, and so on. So these are some of the next-gen technologies identified from our study for the logistics sector. Now, if we look at this kind of roles, the upcoming technologies, and the skill gaps, we try to put that in this single slide in an integrated manner, where the jobs and skill sets are classified around 6 broad clusters, such as the data scientist related roles and skill sets, logistics analyst, another strong set of roles coming up in that area. The sector needs AI/ML experts. The sector needs warehouse managers, transportation managers, and customer service agents. However, these roles or these cluster of roles along with the skill sets, if you see, are not in a conventional way. Although some of the titles like warehouse manager existed years ago, they existed yesterday, and they are going to exist tomorrow also. But the skill sets that they require and the understanding of technology will be fundamentally very different. So from that perspective, this right-hand side, what we have done is put some of the emerging jobs, very fast upcoming jobs required in this sector, such as you need more of AI/ML specialists, digital marketing and strategy specialists, data scientists, data analysts, software and application developers, prompt engineers, because of the advancement of AI has become a very, very important and very specific skill set, because AI is everything about the prompts. And if you have experience and you are able to give right kind of prompts, AI would work wonders. But if you go wrong in your prompts, the output will be of no use to you in order to take effective managerial decisions. So that is all about that. And then you need product managers, of course, supply chain and logistics specialists, warehouse operations executives, and so on. So you will need all of them, and at the same time, some of these jobs will become more redundant. So when we say redundant, it's not that all these jobs are going to disappear completely, but their requirement will be in less and less numbers, and the way they conduct their day-to-day activities, daily work management is going to fundamentally change, because that will be assisted, supported with the help of technology. So effective deployment of the technologies will improve the productivity of these roles, and those who are not able to cope up with that, trying to do them in their conventional way, are going to move out of the employment cycle. That is for sure going to happen. So how do we look at then shaping the future logistics workforce? Because this is the place where all of us are there, and we, particularly being in academics, need to look at, all the academicians need to look at this challenge, where how do we create those kind of future logistics workforce. So obviously we have a battery of solutions proposed here. For example, we can offer more of digital training skill programs, technological infrastructure investments, industry branding campaigns, cross-industry talent exchange programs, because some of the industries are leading in at the cutting edge of the technology. Like if you look at some of the e-commerce, and their highly advanced automated warehouses, they are at the cutting edge of technology, while we have at the same time many others who are in logistics and warehousing, but doing those things in a very inefficient and wasteful way, in very traditional manner. So how that cross-industry exposure, and that is where the academic institutions can become mediators and allow those kind of things. Regional skill development centers, again, there is a lot of regional imbalance in terms of the workforce. So how do we spread out to more and remote regions, and some of these really upcoming centers and districts in India, which are becoming manufacturing hubs, logistics hubs, and coming up very fast. Obviously, industry academia collaboration project, diversity and inclusion is very important, especially where we are seeing a lot of women becoming part of not only manufacturing but also logistics and warehouse operations. That phenomena is witnessed to a great extent. So how we are going to handle that? So there are some of these things where the key action is implement a comprehensive logistics digital skill training program to equip the workforce, and these programs will have an impact where it will enhance employability, drive economic growth, and ensure that the workforce is prepared for future technological advances. So then what we have done is, once we have gone through this, we just did a little bit digging into specific sectors across the industry. Next few slides are devoted to that, but I will just take one or two as an example, and then from there we will take it forward. So for example, semiconductor sector is of great interest strategically and from economic perspective to India as of now, and that is where the overall technology in semiconductor supply chain, where there is collaborative planning, IoT and automation resulting into faster time to market, data democratization for quicker product development, improved supply visibility using IoT, mobility and AI, and robust supply risk management. Very important point given the global supply chain of semiconductors. Advanced planning and signal tracking system using predictive analysis are some of the core domains where we need to skill tomorrow's workforce. Again, we did an exercise where we looked at some of the entry, mid and senior level positions in this particular industry and tried to capture the required skill sets. Of course, the details of this and data and all are at the back end available with the group in the institute who conducted this study. Similarly, we did an exercise for mining and mineral industry, another strategically very important for the country today, and tried to look at some of the technologies and the driving factors for the mining supply chain. So having seen this, what could be the possible role of some of the educational institutes vis-a-vis the government initiatives? If we look at the several government initiatives, government is already working in this problem of addressing the creation of skilled workforce through different initiatives, such as the PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana is there. We are working with NSDC and so on. PM Gati Shakti, where we are very closely integrated. And then there are many other programs of the government where we need to support that through our say domain in terms of skilling the people. So educational institutes need to look at soft skills, the project management, technical proficiency, and business acumen. In addition to that, a lot of skills such as interpersonal and presentation skills, financial analysis and forecasting, team leadership. On softer side, some of the core skills, hard skills are planning, scheduling, problem solving, programming, market analysis, and research. So we believe that we play a pivotal role in developing the overall competencies of logistics workforce. Similarly, specifically with respect to empowering women, establishing clear gender equity targets and communicate throughout the organization, fostering a culture of growth and adopt new technologies to remove perceived barriers hindering women's entry into logistics sector are some of the key aspects which may lead, we believe, to empowering women in logistics sector. There are a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities in logistics sector, and the focus of government on the startup culture resulting into self Atmanirbharta and generating a lot of employment locally. So we also identified with respect to logistics sector, as you can see, some of these entrepreneurship opportunities are widely available, not much explored and pretty open to that. And IIM Mumbai and some other institutes always welcome the entrepreneurship related initiatives, and we support them through our structured mechanisms. Similarly, the near port operations, there are a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities available, and as we are seeing the development of Mundra port in Gujarat, even Vadwan is going near Navi Mumbai, a mega port is coming up, and many other places. So sectors like ship repair and maintenance, cold storage and refrigeration, development of even dry ports across several locations in country, they need a lot of these services, and that is where several entrepreneurship opportunities are available. So finally, we suggest this kind of implementation mechanism where there is a central level committee already there under Ministry of Education led by Joint Secretary, and then some of the premium national institutes including IITs, IIMs, NITs, IIITs, and central universities, they are part of this initiative. For this particular initiative, IIM Mumbai already in this domain because of the expertise and the legacy as a coordinating institute. And then we have started offering courses related to logistics, transportation, and supply chain, and we plan to motivate and collaborate the nearby institutions so that, for example, the central and prominent institutes in Mumbai become a hub, and then all those nearby institutes create those spokes, that hub and spoke model, and a self-sustaining ecosystem is developed around us. So this is what is our proposed this thing. These are some of the sample courses. You can see already these courses are launched, made available through PM Gati Shakti portal, and several professionals have been trained, offered training, and they are contributing, adding value to the respective organizations where they are working. So this was a bit of IIM Mumbai as a contribution to Vikasit Bharat Abhiyan through logistics sector skilling initiatives. I stop the presentation here, and together we are open to take the questions.
Thank you, sir, for a detailed presentation on future of logistics, both sectors, technology requirements, and role of government. With your permission, sir, we can take two questions that have come in the chat box.
Yeah, please take the questions and more if time is permitted.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first query, sir, is there is a gap between industry requirements and the skills and education given to students these days. Please comment regarding the application of the skill set shared during the presentation.
Yeah, Professor Khan.
Yeah, majority of the institutions where we are looking at, they do have this kind of gap. However, with the national education policy coming in and the impetus given to the various modes of learning available for the participants, this gap is slowly getting reduced. Like for example, we have the There are, I'm not getting the name of the portal, where we have also got our own courses loaded up there. So people are actually using those opportunities. In addition to that,
MOOCs and all.
MOOCs, yeah, a lot of MOOCs courses are being offered. Now, the real challenge is in terms of making them industry ready, and this is where our tie-up with NSDC is actually helping scale up or move up very fast in terms of offering some of those courses which give them a first-hand experience and projects which will help them to go back to the industry and contribute straight away. This is what we are doing, madam. This is what needs to be done.
Thank you. So there's one more, maybe the last one that is there, which is Trump administration first imposed a 25% tariff on Indian goods on 1st August, later doubling it to 50% from 27th August. Please comment on the impact on logistic threats and losses.
Okay, this is a kind of not a question seems to be simplest, but it is quite complex. But from a logistics perspective, I think I'll give you some very interesting things which we have come across through the discussions. Now, while the country has been imposed of 50% tariff, now there are some of these exporters who are actually trying to see if they can route some of their exports through some other countries like Middle East, which can have an impact, which can still meet the export requirement. Now, the implication on logistics is simple. You have additional handling, you have got additional requirements which add up to the cost. But if you compare it with the overall cost savings because of the tariff, if it's still making sense, people are going to use these kind of opportunities. Similarly, now the very basis on which the entire approach is, finally it is the total landed cost which makes a lot of sense to every economy, right? Now, whether I source it from A, B, C, whichever economy I'm sourcing it, I would definitely want to get the best out of the best price out of this. Now, in line with that, what actually is the trouble is, or the challenge is, why should somebody be benefited and why should somebody be losing the opportunity is what is the crux of the issue. And we have been listening, we have been hearing many of the leaders talking about that. Let me not comment on that, but the point here is definitely with these kind of tariffs which are being imposed, there are opportunities for the logistics companies to cut down on their costs and still be competitive, taking the advantage of the various mechanisms which can be leveraged. That is what I would like to answer here at this point.
And what I would like to add is, so like this, say it's one of those challenges, maybe the risks coming in the global logistics and supply chain. So maybe whether what is the correct answer to this, only time will tell, but through our programs we aim at building those competencies among the logistics professionals who can handle these kind of risks and try to make their supply chains resilient. So equipping them with the tools and techniques which can handle even these kind of unpredictabilities or sudden disruptions in the supply chain is what we look at. So that is the USP which we provide to the logistics professionals through our programs, which are now even part of our PM Gati Shakti portal. So that is where we look at. We need to build a generation of logistics professionals who can handle this seamlessly and come up with much better solutions.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Megha Tomar from NCGG. I have a question. It was a very insightful webinar. So the question is, very recently, I think last week itself, Amazon has laid off almost 60,000 of its posts. And Amazon being such a big supply chain management and industry, basically, what do you suggest? Like, what is your opinion on these type of layoffs happening recently after COVID?
Madam, it is not just, see, you are aware of only Amazon, which is because it's more fresh in the last 1 week, you are aware of it. But even before that also there have been layoffs. Even before that, just in the month of April, May, there have been a lot of layoffs. Now the challenge is in terms of reskilling, and that is what we keep reiterating in terms of there is a large percentage of workforce which are not going to be just going out of the business. They still have to reskill themselves to adapt to the changing requirements. Okay. Now, whether it is the people who are going to be laid off, it's not about Amazon or XYZ. There are two broad cross sections of the people or the resources. One, the new set of technologies which are going to be coming up. For that, you need skills. And there are people who are already there with the existing body of knowledge and existing skills, which may not be really contributing. And that is where you need to reskill yourself. And today, when we talk of, we are not talking of just Gen AI. Now we are going ahead and then we are talking of agentic AI. Now, this is going to reduce lot of or automate lot of processes and cut down on your resource requirement. And that is obvious. Every company, every economy would like to always optimize on the cost. And that is what is going to be the precise way of looking at things. It's not the layoff, but it is there a need for us to reskill? Is there a need for upskilling ourselves to the new technologies which are coming up? That is what needs to be done.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Director General NCGG to give a final remark on this.
Professors, thank you very much for your very interesting lecture and full of information. I think the challenge, as you pointed, is the gap between the requirement and making that availability, meeting the gap. I think what we need to do at policy level and policy research is that how the institutions are responding to meet this gap. And like 27 is not very far. It's only 2 years. And you said like there will be 10 million more jobs. So how the institutions now actually, if you look at it, it's more of a comment and rather than the question. So if you look at it, you already pointed out that what is the trajectory, like what kind of jobs we need and what are the sectors. I think that was very detailed in terms of, so any institution should be able to look at this and pick up and design courses to meet the requirement, so it would be very interesting study. Now we have IIM Mumbai has a PhD program and other master's program. It would be very interesting to see what happened in last 2 years, say in terms of responding to this gap, and what kind of plan institutions have put in place to meet this gap, and whether we are moving in the direction of meeting the target or we are not moving. And I think this always that we have adequate human capital available, but they are not trained for the required job. So as Professor was pointing out that if you see the entire human like all the number, it's very big, but then those who are employable and those who have required skill set, that number reduces drastically. I think it would be very interesting to policy research on this and then come out with like a toolkit. So this is to be done, where we are going. Otherwise, I think and IIM Mumbai, you have produced such a nice report. I think if you can add to its evaluation or impact in shaping and making talent available, I think it would be a great contribution. But anyway, thank you very much for taking your time out and enlightening the audience about this very important sector for our Viksit Bharat vision. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Can we leave, madam?